Hi everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, and we are the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to mental health and well-being. So Children's Mental Health Week takes place between the 5th and the 11th of February, and the theme this year is all about being ourselves, therefore inviting everyone, children, young people and adults, to come together and celebrate the unique qualities and strengthen themselves and others. So this really is important, seeing that 8 out of 10 children, for example, have low self-esteem. So we've brought in some great guests to remind everyone, especially our young ones, why being you is the all-time best person you can be. Popular Instagrammer and body positivity advocate Steph Ellswood will also be joining us to discuss how she overcame issues she developed from her childhood and how she's using social media as a platform for good. We also speak to Tony Giles, who's been blind since birth. However, he didn't let this affect his self-esteem and instead is living his dream, traveling to over 100 countries on his own. Proof that when you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything despite any seemingly negative circumstances. We also have on Marilyn Hawes, founder of Enough Abuse, to discuss tactics that aim to prevent child abuse across the globe. As we know, abuse can have a massive impact on child self-esteem. And as you may be aware, we're continually doing our bit to help children with their mental health with our very own MHDChallenge tour. And we'll be showing you the latest school we visited who successfully completed the challenge to fight depression and raise awareness about the importance of opening up and getting help. And later on, I'll be giving you 5 reasons you should try something new and how it can benefit your well-being and self-esteem. But first up, it's Marilyn Hawes. Welcome to the show, Marilyn.
Thank you for having me.
So I have to say to the viewers that you are one of our most recent resident experts on the show. So you've been on a few times, and I think what you are doing to raise awareness about child abuse is absolutely excellent.
Thank you.
That's why we wanted you to come on more often, because every time you come on, we learn so much.
Thank you so much.
It's such an important issue.
It means a lot. It means a lot because it is so important and it damages lives.
You've been very busy as well. Can you tell us about what you've been up to?
Well, I've spent 7 hours on my feet today training children from 7 to 11 years old, all the staff in the school, all the parents, and it's extremely rewarding, but it's opened up a massive can of worms with what these children are getting into. The parents hadn't got a clue.
Wow.
And I think it's because I'm a teacher and I go in and I wear my jeans and I look relaxed and I look like their mum might look on or their granny on a Saturday morning. And it's someone different. I can stretch the boundaries a little bit, which I couldn't have done as a teacher. And I make sure the teachers are sat at the back so the children are talking to me. And I must have had about 25 disclosures of terrible activities online. 7-year-olds, not good.
Terrible. Oh, so Marilyn, you have come on again today to obviously raise some awareness and give us your vital tips. So first of all, I'd just like to ask you, how can parents actually prepare for some of the dangers that children face online?
They absolutely need to get educated, and I understand. I mean, this whole thing with the internet has just exploded. I mean, every week, my work with the internet and trying to keep awareness for parents has gone rapidly, huge, ballooned. But they have got to come on board. They have got to step up to the line. If you buy the devices, if you buy the phones, you are responsible. If you pay for your children's contract and if you pay for your broadband, you are legally responsible for the traffic of communication that goes in and out of that phone. So, the criminal age of responsibility is age 10. So not only will your child be tapped on the shoulder, but you as a parent will be. This is not a child-minding toy. This is something that can do serious harm. And it's absolutely imperative that parents join forces with the schools and so they're offering these courses, come and learn. It's not costing you anything. It is not the school's job to do your job as a parent. And I do not understand why there seems to be no accountability anymore.
I was going to ask you, why do you think that parents aren't really taking up this?
I I don't know. There
Something
seems
that's
to
so
be.
important.
I mean, it's not all. Of course, it's not all. There's some wonderful parents, and the ones that turn up are the ones that the staff don't actually need to see, because they're the ones that have got the accountability. But there's so many who have got the children that are so vulnerable who will not turn up. I was given a grant by my county last year, £3,000 to train in 10 different events across the county. The sum total of parents that turned up across those 10 events was 47.
Oh dear.
And that is shocking. You know, you give birth to this child, like it or not, you're responsible for it, not the school. You know, those devices sit in your home, those phones sit in your home. When you've got children accessing their phones, 61% of children are accessing their phones 30 times in a night.
In a night?
In a night.
Wow.
In a night. And 50% of children are not getting enough sleep. You don't get enough sleep, your academic work stops, your immune system's impacted, you can't function the same way. You ask any mother that's been up all night with their child, you're thankful you can walk the next day. And that's the same with the children. I mean, these teachers, the moment a child walks in, you know they've been overdosing on the internet. You just know.
Now, for the benefit of our newer viewers that maybe haven't seen you before, Marilyn, can you just go through some of the dangers of social media and the internet for
well,
younger
what we're
children
trying
as well?
to do is, because it's ballooned, these sort of tendrils have sort of come out, and if the children, you cannot say don't use your social media, because it is their world, it's their online world. But if they don't watch where these tendrils are going, they have a danger of hooking into something that's not healthy. So what we're trying to do is trim it back and say, well, look, here's your world, but let's just fine tune it a bit. There is no child that should be on Musical.ly. It is absolutely infiltrated with paedophiles.
Wow,
who are accessing the videos where these children are dancing. What child doesn't want to dance? But they are lifting those videos off the children's apps. The children don't even know it's happened, because there's no such thing as secure media. Everything on social media is ability to hack and access. And so those videos are lifted and they're put into the dark web. You know, no child should be on social media until they're 13.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you, actually, because so many under 13s are on social media.
And who buys the device? Who lets them have it? You know, there's a word in our language called no. You know, I was the most unpopular mother in the street, according to my children. You know, and I know I didn't have the internet, and people go, oh, you're a dinosaur, you know. What do you know about it? I had 4 children under 5. And in our days, it was drugs, huge, big time, heroin and cannabis. And I said no, I meant no. And if you weren't where you should be and you lied, then you were in serious trouble. My daughter lied when she was 13, and that's it, she lost her horse. And she was grounded for 6 weeks. Was it a happy time? No. You have got to learn to say no. And the trouble is, parents are too busy wanting to be a child's friend. You have plenty of time to be your child's friend, but when that child is growing up, you have got to get them through the murky waters of puberty and those early teenage years. Your job is to guard and guide. You can't do that when you're being their friend. You have got to put a stake in the ground. It's your job with the school, with the child. It's a triangle. You drop out, a two-legged stool, a two-legged, like, you know, a bar stool, you take one leg away, it falls over. You are part of that development of the child, and you cannot negate your responsibility. And if you do, then you put your child at risk.
Marilyn, you mentioned an app there. Is there anything else that you would recommend that children definitely stay away from?
Roblox. Roblox is another one. It's the online games that are really, really... You know, if you buy the thing that goes on your console, which is like years ago, we had a Sonic Hedgehog. I remember that shows how old I am.
I remember it too.
Yeah, you remember it too. And that was fine. And it's the online games. There are 83,000 fake Facebook sites out there. Why would you have a fake Facebook site? Because you're probably catfishing. Catfishing means you're trying to lure those children in. These are people of serious ill intent. 83 million? There's 100,000 internet provider addresses, every day in the UK downloading child abuse images. It's huge. And a third of those images are provided, that's 33% of those images, are provided by the children taking sexting of themselves. You know, oh, look at my private parts. They just don't realise that's a Christmas gift to a paedophile who lifts it off your social media, slams it
even
into
if
the
it's
dark
under
web.
private or anything.
There is no such thing as a private
so they take
setting.
it and they,
There is no such thing as a private or a secure setting. The clue is it's called social media. It was never called secure media. And you buy these. If I was a mum now and I think, okay, my child wants a phone, I would make sure it was a phone that could not access the internet.
Yeah.
It would be messaging only.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then the impact of this, you know, the blue light, the facility of having a screen so close to you and the blue light has now been shown to damage the back of your eye. You know, it's something like 60% of children are not getting enough sleep. It is, and then you can't function when you're doing that. And it's really important. And I understand about peer pressure. It's not anything new. You would have said to your mum, oh, everybody else's mum. I said it when I was a child. Every child says it. But the answer is you are in control. The tail does not wag the dog. Step up to the line and be accountable. I really get fed up with this because I'm so incensed about those particular parents that don't want to step up to the line because they're doing their child a disservice.
And then obviously when things go wrong and something really serious happens, it's like, oh, should have done something.
They blame the school. No, they don't think they should have done anything. They blame the school. They blame the social media. They blame anybody but themselves. And I really don't care if people don't like my message. I am
well,
only
that's one of the things I actually like about you, Marilyn, because you just say it as it is.
It's unsavoury. It's not politically correct. I don't care. Because being politically correct does not help anything. I don't know what's happened to society. We should be more like the Australians who are not politically correct and they maybe get stuff done. Let's have some stronger messages out there. Grow a spine and say no. And I don't care if you don't like it, sunshine. You do as you're told. Yeah.
Okay, well, it used to work in the past.
I said to the children today, I said, do you want to come home and stay with me for a week? I'll change. No! Well, I'm sorry, but I tell you what, you be protected.
Okay. Now, Marilyn, for the parents that do actually want to take this seriously and they do want to protect their child, what the best ways, your top tips just before you go on?
Top tips are learn, educate yourself. Ask us. We've got all the stuff you need. What should you do? What should you not do? We've got a whole massive education program there. You've got to learn. In my day, you read a book with a child, you played a game with a child. So if these games are on the computer, sit with them. Okay. They shouldn't be having their private YouTube channels until they're 18. I was in a school today where 8-year-olds had it. No. You should not be playing online games because online games, you can have thousands of people listening in, watching you, filming you. They may not have made a sound, but they've captured your image. And, children, I had 8-year-olds stay in a school that are watching Grand Theft Auto. For goodness sake, I don't know if you know what that's about, but I mean, I'd rather not say, but Google it. Okay. I mean, it has got an 18 censorship for good reason. Yeah. And one dad said to me today, I let my child watch it, but I don't let him watch the bit where it gets to the prostitute hall. Oh dear. 8-year-old son. What is wrong with parents?
Okay. So games, Marilyn, sitting down with your children.
Cyberbullying, Instagram, oh my good Lord. And there's a new one come out now. Oh, this is going to be horrendous. It's called, I'm not Arabic, it's Sarah Ha. It's called Honesty in the Arabic world. It's been brought out actually for businesses. But some creep has decided this is an excellent app for cyberbullying because it's sent anonymously, it's sent privately, and you can't reply. It's like having a bully in your pocket.
Oh my goodness.
Now, that sounds horrible. Every 30 minutes in the UK, a child is trying to take their own life or self-harming because of the impact of cyberbullying. And that's horrendous. It's horrendous. And I was in this school today, I said, well, I've stood on my feet today. 14 children in the UK have tried to take their own life. And that's because you can't stop it. I was bullied at school. My head teacher took Hillary in her room, no more of it. But the thing with Instagram is that you could say to me, please stop, please stop. But with Instagram, it keeps going. And this new app, Sarah, this will be the next Instagram. It's going to go on. You can't stop it. And you do not know the coping mechanisms of these children. You might wake up today a little bit fragile, vulnerable, so might I. You can't take so much. And it doesn't stop.
Okay,
and, you know, do you really want to be responsible for a child ending their life because you sensed something that was so awful that the child couldn't cope anymore? I couldn't live with that. And that's what's happening.
Marilyn, we're going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sure that's opened the eyes of many parents out there. And hopefully, please take some action and come to one of Marilyn's courses. And it's going to be brilliant.
Thank you so
Marilyn.
much.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Now don't go away, because after the break we have on fitness guru Faye Jejede showing us some great workout tips. But first, what percentage of children aged 5 to 16 have a clinically diagnosed mental health problem? Is it A, 10%, B, 30%, or C, 50%? Find out the answer after this break. Hello and welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. So we hope our talk with Marilyn Hawes has helped some of you parents out there navigate the wild world of the World Wide Web. Now, before the break, I asked you what percentage of children aged 5 to 16 have a clinically diagnosed mental health problem. Is it A, 10%, B, 30%, or C, 50%? The answer is A. 10% of children aged 5 to 16 have a clinically diagnosed mental health problem, a relatively small number. However, in the report provided by the Children's Society, despite the low early diagnosis, the number of adolescents with mental health issues was at 70%, which they believe is due to not having early enough intervention. Now, something great for children and adults alike is skipping. It's fun, it's challenging, and therefore great for mental health. However, another great thing is that at a very moderate rate, it can burn 10 to 16 calories a minute. Work your jump rope exercise into 3 10-minute rounds, and you're looking at 480 calories in half an hour. So according to Science Daily, 10 minutes of skipping rope is about equivalent to running an 8-minute mile. Well, here to show us how skipping is really done is regular fitness guru Faye Jejede.
Thank you, Chrissy. Hey there guys, thank you so much for joining me in today's fitness segment. My name is Faye Jejede. Now today I'm going to be taking you through a fantastic fun workout using just one equipment, a skipping rope. This is going to be great. It's going to be sweaty. It's going to be good for your lungs. It's going to be good for your heart. But most important, it's a great cardiovascular workout. Now get your skipping rope and then bring that to hand, or bring it to wherever you are, and step in front of that skipping rope. The aim is to have your hands to your hip height, okay? So if your rope is too long, wrap it up, as so, and then keep a slight bend in your elbow so you are in line with that hip. That's the aim, just like this. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Okay. Now, as you jump, land lightly on the balls of your feet. Okay. Now, I love skipping, so you might notice that I'm jumping quite high, but if you're starting out, then just do it slow, and then pick up the speed when you're ready, okay? Excellent. Now, let's make this more fun, and let's hop forward and back. Excellent. Ooh, don't worry if you stop, just quickly adjust yourself and carry on. Let's go. Forward and back. Excellent. Keep going. 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Okay, we're going to go back to the same skipping on the spot, and then when I say speed it up, you're going to jog it out. So that means you're going to speed up the skipping. Ready? Let's go. Lightly first. We got that? Okay. And run. Or jog, whichever one. Take those knees up. Excellent. Lightly. Now that you know what you're doing, hop on one leg, just like this. Excellent. Should we change it to the other leg? Keep going. And breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Wow, I'm so out of breath. I've worked very hard and I'm sure that you have as well. Thank you guys for joining me in today's fitness segment. I need to get a drink. Chrissy, where's the drink? Bye guys.
Thanks very much to Faye there. Now, we love going to schools around the country and teaching children the importance of keeping your mental health in check from an early age. And here's how we got on when we went to High Wyche Primary School to do the Mental Health Dance Challenge. Hi everyone, today we are at High Wyche Church of England Primary School and we are here to do the MHD Challenge with these amazing students. Guys, are you ready? Yeah! Do you know what MHD stands for? Yes, that's it, Mental Health Dance Challenge. So everyone, this is Mandy West, who's the head teacher at this lovely school. So Mandy, when you first heard about the initiative, what did you think?
I thought it was a brilliant idea. It's so important, mental health these days, especially it's coming down into primary school age, so it's really important to get them aware of big issues now, and to talk about things.
Everyone has problems, right? We all go through some things in life. There are hard times in life. And when the kids first heard about it, what was their reaction?
Oh, they were so excited. You see by the dancing, they were really into it, so everybody wanted to join in.
Yeah. So if you see in the dance, look, when problems come, we can't just let the problems come and that's it, and then we just get really down. We have to do something about them. So in the dance, you're going to see some fighting moves. Punch, punch, down, punch, 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 down, down, and yeah, I'm a winner. That bit means Superman, you're a winner. Or Supergirl, right? Please, we're not punching people, okay, make it very clear. It's like you're punching the problems. You're saying, I'm not going to let this problem get me down. Stamp and crush, stamp and crush. So that one, same thing again, okay? It's like you're crushing the sadness, you're crushing the things that maybe you're going through. Now this one, we're gonna be doing this, okay? What does this mean? No, no, no depression. It's not just a dance. The dance has a meaning. And what about the red flag? Let's see a red flag. Do you have one? War. War against what? Yeah, mental health problems. Yeah, exactly. Well done. So you all know. That's brilliant. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Step back. And point, and you guys know this already. What's going on? As you can see, they have been practicing. They are so good. I've been through the dance a couple of times with them already, and we're about to film the actual real version now. You made my life hell for years. But now depression, it's payback time. This way first. Let's go. Woo. And turn. Turn the other way. Hand on head. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Get up. Step to the side. Shake it up. Middle to the side. Ready to punch? Punch, punch, down. Punch, 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 down, down. I'm a winner. Let's go again. And turn. Good. And turn. 2, 1, 2, 3. Get up. Step to the side. Shake it up. Middle to the side. Ready to step? Let's go. job. I was so impressed. What did you think of them today?
So proud of them, always very proud of them. Well done, you lots.
Brilliant. What did you guys think about the dance?
It was really fun and I really enjoyed it. I was really excited for it and I thought it was going to be really good and I really enjoyed it.
At first I done it for a little joke and I thought, oh, this is, I didn't think it was going to be very good, but then first when I tried it, it was absolutely brilliant and I'm going to recommend this to all my friends and make them do it.
Obviously, at the beginning I had to talk to everybody about why it's important to talk about when you're feeling sad. Does anyone want to say why they think it's important to speak to someone if you're feeling sad or to fight against depression? Anyone? Yeah?
Because if you don't tell anyone that depression can just build up on you and make you feel even worse, and then eventually you'll just feel like you don't want to be alive anymore.
If you don't tell anybody, then it will just get more worse and you'll start getting quite... Because if you're afraid of something, then you have to tell someone about it.
We shouldn't just keep things inside if we're feeling sad. We've got our, sometimes we've got our parents to talk to, we've got teachers to speak to, and everyone's there to help us, right?
Yeah.
And we just keep on fighting depression, yeah? Yeah. Well, everyone, I'm very happy to present the official MHDChallenge certificate to High Wyke Primary School, and well done for this amazing achievement with your children here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now don't go away, guys, because after the break we'll be speaking with Instagram influencer and body positivity advocate Steph Ellswood on how she overcame childhood body issues. Plus, I'll be chatting to Tony Giles, who has travelled to 110 countries despite being blind and partially deaf. We'll see you after the break. Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Everyone, and welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. So we hope you've enjoyed the program so far. A big thank you to Marilyn Hawes for coming in and talking to us about how parents with young children can prepare themselves for some of the dangers their children may face in the future. As always, thank you to fitness expert Feja Jede for her great skipping tutorial. We also hope you enjoyed our trip to High Wyke Primary School, where we tried to do our bit for Child Mental Health Week by teaching some of the kids there the MHDChallenge. But up next to talk to us is popular Instagrammer and body positivity advocate Steph Ellswood. Welcome to the show, Steph.
Thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you on. Now, I think you're perfect for this particular program because we are going to be talking about self-esteem issues and some various other issues, and it fits perfectly with Child Mental Health Week. So can you tell us, first of all, how did issues begin in your life in particular?
I think for me the issues began when I was about 14 or 15. I'd recently changed schools and I went from a very big private girls' school to a full-time dance school. And I went from a year of 100 girls to 20 mixed. And it was a very big shock for me. And there were people that were into things I wasn't into. And I was in a leotard every day, looking in front of a mirror. And it was that awkward stage when you're going through puberty, and I was a late bloomer, shall we say. So all these girls had womanly figures, and I felt like I looked like a little bean sprout or a little child next to them. So I really struggled then because they were all into boys and makeup, and I wasn't really at that level yet. So I started to kind of question myself then, I believe.
Had anyone actually said anything to you, or was it just what you were seeing in others and comparing yourself?
I think when you're in that really close environment, the way teenage girl minds work, there's always little comments here and there, and I think without realising they do build up, and then you start to question yourself. And it was around this time that, do you know the social media platform Tumblr? I was addicted to that, and it was very pro-anorexia, pro-eating disorder and things like that. And I thought, since I wasn't going to be the curvy, voluptuous, womanly one, I'll just try and make myself the skinniest I could be. And it almost became a game. And it was my way of controlling the situation.
Wow, okay. So what did you actually start doing then to get thin?
So I started by halving my portions at lunch. So in the first year that I was at this new school, I used to change my hairstyle and go back for seconds. Like, I was such a different person. And then the year after, I would get lunch, put half of it in the bin, and then sit down with my friends and just eat it like it was normal, and no one thought anything of it. And then the more I did that, the smaller and smaller my portions were getting. And then it got to the stage where I was leaving my dance classes and leaving my academic classes to make myself sick.
What were you going through mentally at this point?
I was a bit lost, I think. I was very emotional. I'm so far removed from that person now.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of...
So it's hard to... I just was very down all the time, and I was very negative, and I'd have really drastic mood swings. And I was quite hard to be around, and I know I fell out with a lot of friends of mine because they didn't understand it, and only a few of them knew. But I kind of wanted to be by myself a lot. It wasn't something that I wanted to share with someone, and it was my own little dirty secret that no one knew about. And like I said, it almost became a game.
So it was like you started off wanting to kind of fit in, I suppose, in some kind of way.
Yeah.
But then isolating yourself completely from everyone, so it kind of backfired, really, didn't it?
Yeah, and it is really hard at that young age to see yourself in a leotard, in a mirror, in a row of girls every single day. And it was a very high pressure environment. We were dancing every day, singing, acting, and doing our GCSEs. So I was putting myself thin at all angles, wanting to be the best I could be. And there's a very dated view of a dancer to be 6 foot tall and leggy and stick thin. And I wasn't that build naturally, so I was trying to make myself that build through making myself sick.
Wow, okay. And then how did things progress after that? What would you say was the lowest moment for you?
There was a low point for me when I told my 2 best friends at the time on separate occasions, and I didn't want them speaking about it, so I told them both that I'd only told them. But they were both worried about me, so spoke
to each other.
And they came to the conclusion that I was attention seeking and that I wasn't actually doing it. So then they kind of left me by myself. And it was at this point that I realised I was really alone, and I kind of wanted to make a difference, but I didn't know how because I was so set in my ways. And luckily, about 2 months later, one of the girls that I told her mum, and her mum was really concerned, so she called my mum. And obviously, I'm so close with my mum, she was heartbroken. And then it became a little bit harder because I felt like there was a pair of eyes watching me, and I was sneaking around even more. But because of that, I realised that things needed to change, and slowly stopped.
Okay, so how did you actually, because it takes a lot of inner strength to be able to just stop, but how did you actually work through that and become who you are today and be influencing so many people?
I was doing it all the way through my GCSEs, and then when I finished those, I had the decision to either stay on at that school or move. And I decided to move to a different vocational college and start at 16 there and get a diploma. And I thought, fresh start, I'm not going to do any of that. However, in my second year at that college, my friend at the time opened up to me about the fact that she had bulimia. And in a really twisted way, that triggered me again because it normalised it for me, and it made me realise that other people were doing it, so it was normal, so I could go back to doing it. So sadly, I relapsed, and I'd say it was 10 times worse. I was leaving every class, I wasn't eating, and when I did, I'd feel so guilty that sometimes I would just be sick from the guilt of eating. And it wasn't until I had a really bad panic attack in a jazz class, and my jazz teacher took me to the principal, and the principal said that if I didn't tell my mum what I was doing, then they'd ask me to leave the college. And I was so proud to be there and so happy to be there that I never wanted to leave. So I sat my mum down and told her the situation. She took me to my GP, and we found professional help at the Maudsley Hospital in Denmark Hill. So I went once a week to see what I called my angel, and she helped me through it with food diaries, with different exercises. And I saw her every week for a year, and then every month for 6 months. And she taught me ways to change my mindset and to find a new love for food again.
What's your relationship with food like now? Tell us what you're doing.
I love food for all the right reasons. So I love cooking, I don't count calories, I don't restrict, I enjoy the food I eat, and I don't feel guilty for it, but it has taken years of hard work to get there. Okay,
tell us about your Instagramming and everything that you do as well.
So I started
you're really popular on social media, aren't you?
I started an Instagram by accident, just to document my food, to kind of show my mum that I was eating and in love with food again. And people started to follow it and started to enjoy it, so I started to take it more seriously. And then one of my friends told me to post my journey and post my face and give a face behind the food. So I did, and now it's my full-time job. I share food, recipes, fitness inspiration, outfits that I wear, and just kind of encourage young women especially to love themselves more, because obviously I turn to Tumblr in my darkest hour, and I want to be that page that you can follow when you're feeling low, and it will give you a little boost to actually carry on and realise that you're actually okay, and other people may be going through something similar, so you're not alone. Okay,
and tell us about your link with high heels as well. What's that about?
Obviously I trained as a dancer, and over the last year or so I found myself dancing more and more, and I was posting videos of me dancing, and all my followers were commenting, saying how they'd love me to teach the dance class. And I was very keen, but I didn't want to ever put someone in the position where they'd come to a class and then leave feeling down if they couldn't do it. So I came up with this concept. My nan had just passed away, so I wanted to do something to raise money for the hospice that looked after her, because they were amazing. And I came up with this concept to teach a class, teach women how to walk in heels and then dance in heels if they felt comfortable, and then have an educational element afterwards. So I collaborated with some motivational speakers, some psychologists, and they held a talk afterwards. And I was so nervous no one would turn up, so I chose the smallest venue with 25 people, and tickets sold out in half an hour. And since then we've done 4 events, raised over £5,000 for charity.
Amazing.
And I want to build a Stay Sassy Foundation, and to keep raising money for charities and people in need.
That's just brilliant. Amazing. Now, Steph, the theme of our show is about, Child Mental Health Week, and the theme this year is about being yourself, because a lot of children, especially, they're going through a hard time, and like yourself, have low self-esteem, like you had in the past. What would you say maybe to someone watching now that is facing that? They're kind of not really being themselves and they have low self-esteem. What advice would you give to them?
I think you need to embrace everything about yourself, your quirkiness. I mean, I'm a bit geeky and I've learned to embrace that. I think you need to remember that you are the only version of yourself on this earth. So you need to own it, and you need to sell it to everyone you meet, and you need to love yourself for being that, everything that you encompass.
Definitely, I agree. It's lovely. Steph, thank you so much. Your story is so inspirational, and all the best for the foundation that's going to be coming up. Tell us more about it next time you come on, if you want to come on again to tell us about it. That's lovely. Thank you. Well, guys, don't go away, because after the break, we'll be joined by author and traveller extraordinaire Tony Giles to tell his incredible story of travelling while blind. Plus, I'll be giving you some tips on why you should try new things. But first, what is the most common mental health issue in children? Find out the answer after this break. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. Now, before the break, I asked you, what is the most common mental health issue in children? The answer, it's a tie between ADHD, depression and anxiety disorders, all of which, according to the Mental Health Foundation, can be effectively managed through early intervention. So we hope we've been able to give you more of an insight into child mental health this week. We spoke with Marilyn Hawes on how parents with young children can prepare them for some of the dangers they may face growing up, and popular Instagrammer Steph Ellswood gave us a look into her formative years. And coming up on the last part of today's show, I'll be giving you some top tips of 5 reasons to try something new. But first, we're going to be talking to someone who certainly wasn't afraid to go out and experience what the world had to offer despite his blindness. It's author and traveller Tony Giles. Hello, Tony.
Hi.
It's lovely to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you are quite an adventurer, I have to say. How many countries have you visited so far?
At present I've visited 125 countries, all 7 continents of the world, all 50 states of the US.
Okay. Can you tell us first of all about your condition? Were you actually born blind?
Yeah, so I've got a rare eye condition called cone dystrophy. So I was born with this condition. I could see shapes and shadows as a child, but no colours. And I learned to sort of read and write with very big black letters on white paper. I could see the shapes until I was 7 or 8. And then I needed to sort of learn Braille, and I went to a boarding school and learned mobility.
Okay. And at this present time, can you still see shapes and shadows?
All I see now is I can sense sunlight. So
Okay.
if I'm out in bright sunlight or if I'm walking into it, I can sense it. And I also went deaf when I was 6, and I'm at present severely deaf, or 80% deaf in both ears.
Okay, and you're wearing hearing aids?
Yeah, I use digital hearing aids.
Okay, so you can hear quite a bit with the hearing aids, but okay.
Yeah, one-to-one I'm really good, and it gets more difficult in crowds and stuff.
Okay. Now, I'd like to know, Tony, how did you actually cope growing up at school and, in your teenage years?
Yeah, well, so I sort of played in the street. It was a one-way street, so I knew sort of which way traffic was coming and stuff. And I played with neighbours and stuff, and then I went to a school for disabled children from the age of 5. I travelled to school every day in the car, and then when I was 10 and a half, I went to a boarding school, so I sort of stayed there 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and come home on the holidays. There was a lot of bullying. It was a school for visually impaired and blind children, so education is fantastic. 6, 7, 8 children in a class.
Yeah.
So really good education. Yeah, the bullying was tough, but you sort of learn to cope and sort of mix in. I think I couldn't really fight that well, so I sort of learned to sort of humour myself and humour other people. So yeah, it was tough that way, and sort of 16, 17 hormones and stuff, and so why am I blind? Why me? Why am I deaf? That kind of stuff. Particularly in social circumstances, because it's the deafness rather than the blindness. I can't lip read and sign, so that was a struggle.
Okay, and did that affect your self-esteem quite a bit, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. My sort of inner confidence, not my confidence to get from A to B, because I've been doing that since I was 11, and my teachers told me you will go down those shops, you will catch buses. So that was never an issue. But yeah, certainly my self-esteem and finding girlfriends and that kind of stuff was that was a struggle.
Okay, are you with someone at the moment?
Yeah, I've been in a relationship for the last 8 years.
Wonderful.
With a girl from Greece. So.
Okay. Was that someone you met on your travels?
Yeah, I sort of met through the internet and then went out to Greece and met her. And she's also blind.
Okay.
So yeah, and we travel together sometimes.
Oh, amazing. All right, so now the big question, Tony, that I have. How did you get into travelling?
So sort of, I always think it's sort of natural sort of progression. So I started off travelling to school by taxi, and then going to boarding school. So it was sort of that, and wanting to come home and see my family. My dad was quite elderly and not in good health, so I was all sort of worried about him really, and wanted to see my mum, very close to her. So sort of once I got the mobility schools coming home, and then my dad was in the merchant navies. He sort of told me about his travels.
Okay.
Like, oh, that sounds good. But sort of then I went to the States with the school, and I was 16, and that was different and sort of eye-opening, and then went back with a friend, but really my travel sort of started when I was 21. I went to the States as part of an American study degree, and all my friends went down to Florida for spring break, and I thought they're not going to let me sort of party and drink, so I thought I'll go to New Orleans by myself. So was
that scary to do that alone?
A little bit. It was sort of more not planning it. Once I got there, and I was able to get a taxi from the airport to my accommodation, but once I sort of outside on the street, yeah, I did panic a bit. Thought it was a strange place, totally different. How am I sort of going to cope and that? But I sort of realised, well, this is what I want. This is what I come here to do. So I took a few deep breaths, turned left, and walked down the street, and I never looked back really.
That's amazing. Now, I have to ask you this question, Tony, as well, because I'm sure it's on the mind of our viewers. So you go to these places, you can't see what's around you. What is it that you're getting from it? What is it that stimulates your senses when you are traveling?
Well, yeah, well, people think seeing is just about seeing the beautiful vistas or the mountains. But it's much more than that. It's about the smells, the sound, the taste of food, the music. It's it's the whole atmosphere. So you're walking through a market in somewhere like Thailand or Israel. It's the sounds of the smells of the incense and the perfumes and all the onions cooking, and I'm highly sensitive to all that. And you fence the space, if it's narrow streets and a whole atmosphere, and it's quite chaotic. Wow. Especially somewhere like Thailand. I always tell people Bangkok's the most amazing city I've experienced, because you get out of the airport and it just hits you, the heat, the chaos, honking horns. It's all that. And ultimately it's about meeting the people, meeting the local people and learning about their culture. Without people, we've got nothing really.
Amazing. What would you say have been some of your highlights?
Hiking to Angel Falls in Venezuela, bungee jumping in New Zealand.
Bungee jumping?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, fantastic. It's in the middle of nowhere on a bridge, two instructors, one guy and a dog watching. He's like, Tony, you're going to tap you 3 times and you're going to fall forward and fall into sort of air. So I sort of fall in, and it's a bang. It's like sort of running into a brick wall, and suddenly you bounce and your whole body explodes. Yeah. And I absolutely loved it, because I couldn't know when it was going to happen. I couldn't anticipate it. So it was all the unknown. And that's what I live with, the unknown every day. Yeah. It's part of my world, and I've done it 16 times.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I skydived, I've driven jet boats, I've whitewater rafted, all these crazy things.
Everything.
And I love it because it's feeling, it's all sensation, it's all feeling, and and that's as a blind person, that's what I want.
Okay. What about future plans? What countries are you planning to visit?
So I'm planning to possibly go to Lebanon next, and then Russia in April, and possibly Greenland in July, and then we keep going. My ultimate goal and aim is to visit every country in the world.
Amazing.
And then maybe do it again.
All over again when you're finished.
And then, so I published a couple of books to tell my sort of story and then show people that no matter if they're disabled or what their disability is, if they're able-bodied, they can live their dreams and they can do what they want. Yeah. I'm totally blind and severely deaf, and I've gone out and tackled my fears, Well,
this is what I was going to ask you, because if there are people watching now and they're listening to your story, and especially maybe the young, since we are talking about Child Mental Health Week, and maybe this particular child is feeling, well, I don't have much, I don't feel very good about myself, I've got this condition or I've got this disability and I don't feel like life is worth living. What would you say to them?
I'd say to them it is, very much so, and it's difficult at times, it's not easy, and it's finding people that sort of understand you, and then sort of trying to find that person within and understand yourself. But you can do it, and we all go through these fears. Adults go through these fears, whether they're disabled or able-bodied. It's about just being you, and don't let anything sort of hold you back. Don't worry about what you look like or what people think of you. Just
You're amazing.
Be yourself.
Well, this is exactly the theme that we're talking about today, in being yourself. And you actually went through that stage where you didn't have much self-esteem. When would you say you actually gained that self-esteem and that you started really being yourself? Was it when you started travelling or before?
I think, it was that sort of process of sort of going through the university and being in an able sort of bodied environment, and realising that people accepted me for who I was despite my disability, and then going travelling and realise, hey, people are being around me because they like me. They don't feel sorry for me because I'm blind, they just think I'm doing something amazing, and they just think I'm cool. So it's sort of that realisation, it's sort of early 20s. And
that all comes about by being yourself. That's when people like you, when you are just you and you're not pretending to be someone or something else. Yeah, brilliant.
Just sort of, you start to feel sort of comfortable in your own skin, and and realise you don't have to put on a show. You don't have to be something else or someone else. You sort of find what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, brilliant. Tony, I think you're absolutely amazing. All the best with your future travels.
Thank you.
And we hope to hear from you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All All right, everybody, so maybe you have things you want to achieve, but you're not very keen on trying new things. So here are some tips on why you definitely should try. So let's get straight to some tips. Now, the first reason that you should try something new is because you don't want to have regrets. So I know we've all done things that we've regretted, and there are also things that we've not done and regretted not doing them. So whether that's actually telling someone how you feel, maybe taking up a new job opportunity, it's really not nice to live with regrets. And remember, you only live once, so make the most of your life now. I remember times when I've taken risks, and and to be honest, most of the time, any time that I have taken a risk, it's actually worked out well. And I can't think of a time that I took a risk and it didn't, to be honest. There might have been some occasions, but if there were, I don't even remember them, which is a good sign. I just remember the risk that I took, and that worked out well for me. So it really is not a nice thing to have regrets, and it's always better to try and fail than never try. And you actually find that most of the times things will work out when you do take a risk. The second reason, because you don't know what you'll find. So as we just mentioned, maybe you try something new or you take a risk, and then you do actually discover that you don't actually like it, or you've given it a chance and it hasn't worked out, but at least you tried and you can already tick that off your list. But what if you discover something or someone amazing by taking that risk or trying that new something? It just opens up your world to so many different possibilities and opportunities, and you do really get to meet some interesting people and maybe even a life partner, you never know. Let's look at the third reason. Because it will give you confidence. Now, you do tend to feel bad if you don't try something, but you do feel really good when you've at least tried it, you've taken the risk, and also you'll feel really good about yourself for doing something new, for doing something different. It is a victory for you, and even if it was something really small, even if it might seem insignificant to other people, that doesn't matter. If it was something new for you and a challenge for you and you did it, that is really important. I'm actually speaking to a young woman now, and she does have some mental health issues, and for her it's like small things, like maybe just going for a job interview. Some people see that as a small thing. For her it's a massive deal, because she's had social anxiety, she's had so many problems in dealing with things that most people will just breeze through, but for her it's a big deal. And I was actually explaining to her, look, don't feel bad just because you are finding this particular thing difficult. The important thing is that you're trying. And she went for a job interview recently, she got the job. It's a voluntary job, but it's something, and before she wasn't even leaving her house. So the fact that it might seem like a small victory for other people, but for her it's a big deal, and that's something to be celebrated. So always, whatever you do, no matter how small or how big, it is a victory once you do try something. And the next point is, you should try something new because you'll be more interesting. Now this one is quite important. This is something that I always tell my single friends who are just waiting around for the right person to come along. You can't just wait and not do anything. When you actually try new things, you have more things to talk about, you'll be able to inspire others, you'll have lots of funny stories, you'll just be a more interesting person all round. If you're just doing the same thing day in, day out, you're not done anything different, what are you going to talk about? Even with the people already in your social circle, what do you have to say? You haven't done anything different, so your conversations are going to be quite boring. So it does actually make you a more interesting person when you try new things. And my final reason for today for trying new things is because you can't accomplish anything when fear controls you. So fear is a massive blockage for a lot of people for not trying anything new. And unfortunately, it can stop you. It's not just about becoming more interesting or having more to talk about, or being more confident. It can actually stop you from moving forward in life. So it can stop you in terms of your career, your finances. It blocks you in terms of relationships. It can hinder so many things. So the more you practice doing new things, the more you practice coming out of your comfort zone, the better. Even if you get those butterflies, even if it makes you feel really nervous, but what you can achieve after that, if you keep your mind focused on what's to come, the good that it will do for you, that should keep you going, and that even though you feel the nerves and everything like that, you will get over that eventually, and you will start to enjoy the benefits of conquering your fears and trying something new. Well everyone, that's it for today. I hope those tips have helped you, and if you have a story that you would like to share on this program, or you have any comments about today's show, please do get in touch with us. You can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And if you'd like to know more about my mental health journey, please do visit my website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Until next time, bye bye for now.